Each year, Mount Sinai honors a select number of outstanding alumni and faculty members whose careers exemplify the highest ideals of the Mount Sinai health system. They have made outstanding contributions in clinical care, biomedical science, and medical education. They have given extraordinary service to the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, the Alumni Association, and the entire health system. These are colleagues who personify excellence in the Mount Sinai tradition. This year's Jacobi Medallion honorees include a distinguished radiologist and educator who is a former president of the Alumni Association, a world leader in molecular biology and pharmacology, the dean of our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, who is renowned for her work in computational biophysics, our dean for scientific computing and data, who has helped Mount Sinai excel in data analytics, and our dean for graduate medical education, who is also an innovative surgeon and a dedicated professor. With the Jacobi Medallion, we honor their achievements and express our appreciation for their important roles in making Mount Sinai one of the nation's leading academic medical centers.
My father was a very prominent rabbi, and on my maternal side, I come from at least 10 generations of very well-known and prominent rabbis, all of whom served the community. It became very clear to me very early on in high school that I was not set out to be a rabbi. And I thought about what other things to do, and then it was almost an epiphany, and medicine just seemed the obvious track to take. On July 1st, I'll have been at Mount Sinai for 47 years. Other than marrying my wife, it was the wisest decision that I ever made.
Bert is a brilliant radiologist with a special devotion to his research and his patients. He has been a fixture here at Icahn Mount Sinai for more than 40 years, primarily for his roles in the teaching and admission programs, and also for his active presence in the Alumni Association. He is a terrific physician, and he is also a big reason why the community here at Icahn Mount Sinai is so very special.
First, I'm a physician, and then I'm a radiologist. I see patients as human beings, not just studies to be examined. So I speak to them, I find out what their symptoms are, what they're concerned about. It's being a detective.
The mission of the radiologist is to take the data and arrive at a diagnosis. However, Burton not only analyzes a scan, but also realizes the soul and essence of the patient.
There's no unimportant case. You have to realize that there's a human being on the other side of that study. And to that human being, this is the most important study. Sometimes you're frightened when you find something bad. And my mantra is just always a sense of responsibility.
Bert gives his heart and soul not only to every case he reads, not to every patient, but to every person he comes in contact with. What he instilled in me was way beyond medicine. It's really, how do you take care of people and how do you act as a person? And I think that's what really drives Bert.
It's very easy to sit in a dark room and never see anybody, but it's very important to help people through these very difficult times for them. And if we can steer them and help them in the right direction, we've really done a great service. When I heard that I got the Jacobi Award, I was absolutely thrilled. I told my wife and she started crying. This is the pinnacle for me. Mount Sinai has been extremely good to me. It helped give me a career and trained me, and I'm very grateful.
By honoring Dr. Bert Cohen, we are honoring a man who has been completely committed to the Mount Sinai community. Bert has left a mark that will be in line and in parallel with the giants of Mount Sinai.
He represents the best of the best. That's simply Bert.
I hope my legacy will be that I was a very fine doctor who helped a lot of people. I hope that I helped guide young people in how to be better physicians and human beings. I hope my legacy will be that I made an impact on this world. That's what I hope.
Research was the initial guiding light for me as a career path. That's what brought me to this country, kept me going, and has kept me going. I wanted to do research that was more applied to human condition. The best to understand a system is to study when the system is broken. In drug addiction, opiate addiction, the brain is broken, the signaling is broken, signaling is altered. And so that was the way in which we could get at what normal signaling should be or could be.
Lakshmi's unique expertise in pharmacology, systems biology, and molecular neuroscience is recognized around the world. Her investigations into the brain's response to drug abuse and opiate addiction are at the forefront of neuropharmacology research.
In my lab, we are interested in identifying new ways in which we can target opiate addiction. The one question that I want answered is, what do the many different opioids that we have in our body do in terms of signaling? Can we now identify new ways in which they signal, new targets for making drugs based on that knowledge?
She understood and developed new ways to approach our understanding of how cells talk to one another. For example, the fact that although we think receptors only talk to the same kind of receptors, in fact, there are ways that receptors partner with one another, even if they're from different classes.
Instead of directly targeting the opiate receptor itself, we are looking at other receptors in the vicinity or area of the brain where the opiate receptor is causing addiction.
That kind of concept, I think, has helped open many vistas for us in the field. How we can block those pathways as a form of a new therapy that could reduce addiction and ultimately bring people back to health.
I admired Dr. Debbie not only as a scientist, but also as an educator. That dual role as a researcher and educator is a rare combination in leading an investigator in an academic institution.
She took on a new role as Dean for Academic Enrichment, and in a very short time stood up programs that have been transformative for junior faculty. Her impact will resonate in changing the landscape of this institution for years to come. And the Jacobi Medallion is a very appropriate recognition of a very special person.
When I was told that I received the Jacobi, it was an honor. I think it is in recognition of my accomplishments at Sinai, but actually those are the accomplishments of Sinai, because Sinai made me who I am today.
Science does not work from scratch. There are lots of things that you have to change along the way, and lots of way that you have to adapt and to readjust, and you need to have a little bit of resilience and a little bit of strength to overcome the difficulties, because they will come. I chose to work at Mount Sinai because it gives you an opportunity to use your basic science to eventually have an effect or make an impact in the world. It was definitely the place where I could grow as a person, as a scientist, and as a leader.
Marta is an internationally recognized expert in the field of computational biophysics of membrane proteins. Her lab has done groundbreaking work toward the discovery and design of new painkillers with reduced side effects. Marta has done a terrific job as Dean of our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, making it a leading school among all medical schools.
Marta's laboratory has long focused on mechanisms of opioid action. Marta has attacked that problem with persistence and depth.
We use a high-performance computer to be able to design molecules, and we use this technology to make better opioid drugs.
The ultimate goal, for example, might be to develop a painkiller that is not addicting or less addicting.
Other than for research, Marta is doing for Mount Sinai something that is absolutely existentially important. and that is leading the graduate school.
From the perspective of an educator, what excites me is what education will become in biomedical sciences moving forward.
MARTA started a new training area in the graduate school called Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Medical Technologies, basically to capture all of the excitement in artificial intelligence and machine learning that is transforming nearly every aspect of biomedical research and clinical medicine today.
When I learned that I had received the Jacobi Medallion, I said, wow! It was completely unexpected.
By honoring Marta Filizzola, we are honoring a scientist and educator who has been a trailblazer in her career. She has dramatically augmented the careers of our next generation who will carry the torch in biomedical research.
One of the most important things for young people coming to graduate school is to find a role model. That is a great gift.
What excites me is Mount Sinai is not only allowing the science to progress, but is allowing science to progress through giving our trainees the right tools to eventually push the frontiers of medicine in the future.
Scientific computing and data is empowering scientists and clinicians to think of their research and their clinical practice in a new way. Why are computers important? Why is computation and data important? It's because it allows researchers to do things that are not possible by hand. You can't look through 1 million genomes by hand, but you could get a computer to look through the data and find the patterns, find which things seem to matter and which things don't. We can leverage all this data and figure out what's the important data. It can really help us gain new insights into human health.
Patricia's work is integral to the function of Mount Sinai's overall research operation. She not only oversees the entire system's data warehouse, she also develops the strategies that strengthen the computational and data capabilities for all of our research programs. She and her team have done crucially important work by providing Mount Sinai with a world-leading ecosystem for scientific discovery.
There was a couple things that attracted me to Mount Sinai. This goes back to Mount Sinai predicting the data revolution and their strong commitment to translational science, the translation to the clinic. I wanted to participate in that translation and have the impact on human health.
Dean Kovacs came to Mount Sinai and built one of the largest and best high-performance computing centers called Minerva that accelerated Mount Sinai to the forefront of discovery.
We named the supercomputer here at Mount Sinai after Minerva, who is the Roman goddess of wisdom. Minerva was foundational because it provided a platform for researchers to perform large-scale processing of genomic data and also allowed large-scale molecular dynamic simulations. And that's very important for drug discovery.
There is not a single department within Mount Sinai that doesn't leverage the power of the high-performance computing cluster that Dean Kovacs has created using AI techniques on electrocardiograms, looking at genomes of patients with cancer, looking at images of chest X-rays for lung diseases.
A major focus for the Mindage Institute is using large genomic data sets to identify children who have rare diseases that so far have gone unrecognized and undiagnosed. Patricia's made it so that we can access the data about our patients and use it to a maximal benefit in order to learn the most and advance the care for tomorrow.
We are empowering these departments to perform clinical trials, to perform biomedical research, and to help develop predictive models of disease.
Patricia Kovacs is deserving of the Jacobi Medallion because she exemplifies the best virtues that Mount Sinai has seen. These include scientific leadership, vision, collaboration, and ability to lead by example.
Mount Sinai has a long history of scientific discovery, and I'm in awe that I am part of the incredible world-class scientists and researchers in our collective quest to improve the diagnosis and treatment of human disease.
I'm a general surgeon. I've been practicing the field of general surgery for more than 32 years. And I've been a surgical educator and a medical educator my entire professional lifetime. I also am privileged to be responsible for the largest graduate medical education program in the country, and I'm responsible for all the residency programs and fellowship programs at Mount Sinai. When I think about my responsibility at Mount Sinai, it is a humbling and inspiring role that I have because I'm able to help young physicians develop the skill set to navigate the complexities of healthcare.
Michael Lightman is esteemed for his development of minimally invasive techniques for the treatment of abdominal conditions. He is also renowned for his research on post-surgical treatment of breast cancer, colon cancer, and lower gastrointestinal hemorrhage, as well as gallbladder disease and morbid obesity. He is a committed educator and physician who is devoted to his students and patients alike.
The age-old question for all of us is, how do we improve patient care? And most importantly, how do we improve it in the communities of greatest need? This is what Michael has done in advancing the GMA's mission, is allowed us to train people prepared to take on the most vulnerable communities and take medicine to the next level.
He knows and supports the fact that Mount Sinai is always on the cutting edge. We are always pushing the envelope and bringing medicine to the next level. And part of that is having training programs that create that next level of care. For example, Michael was instrumental in helping us set up the first surgical fellowship devoted to gender-affirming surgery in the world.
One of the ways in which we innovate in graduate medical education is first identifying a community need. And several years ago, we recognized that the communities around Mount Sinai did not have the necessary number of primary care providers. And we were able to create an innovative residency program that provided experience in less traditional settings such as health centers, school-based care, and even prisons.
Michael Lightman steps out as a person who embraces all of the basic principles of what makes Mount Sinai great: thoughtfulness in education, clinical excellence, and research that is better than any place in the world.
I've been privileged to be a part of the Mount Sinai Health System for almost 20 years. When I heard that I was going to receive this true honor, I was both flattered and humbled that Mount Sinai chose me for the work that I do to receive this very prestigious award. Graduate medical education lives at the center of the health system, and I'm excited by the fact that we are constantly evolving our abilities to not only fight disease but also educate future physicians.